Melly Mel the Hood Postman. You know that vibe. So it's Sunday, right? I got man, I got a really good treat for you guys. I got Devin Harmon in the Raw getting a compelling, thrilling narrative, and he's speaking about the state of California, how its judicial system fails us, how it targeted us and label us and demonize us in ways that go beyond the pale. So I want you guys to follow this narrative, listen to it, man, and later on, man, when Devin gets some internet capabilities, we gonna tap in with him, man, because that's my guy out that PDL tribe, man, Pasadena. Shout out to the PDLs out there in Pasadena, man. Once again, we are doing the work, man. United Streets of America. Man, it keeps getting better and better, man. Once again, Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman. So you guys, man, tap in with Devin Harmon, man. You know, and you go back into my archives, you'll see where Devin Harmon really he speaks it, man. He brings it, man. So once again, you know that vibe. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share, click the notification bell. And when these videos come up, you'll be able to get them right up in front, man. Peace.
All right. My name is Devin Maurice Harmon. For the record, my name is Devin Maurice Harmon. And as you can see, I'm leading this camera forward for a minute. You can see there is a phone on voice recording right now. I am making a copy of this for the California Department of Corrections parole agent and parole supervisor Nichols and De Silva. As you can as well see, there is no legal notes in front of me. My name is Devin Maurice Harmon, as I said before. And as some of y'all know from my Facebook channel, and as the state and them know, I spent 15 years falsely incarcerated and was given a 280 years to life sentence, which in last year the state commuted and stated that it was cruel and unusual punishment to the federal standards of law. Yet since then, and upon my release, I have pursued evidence to prove my innocence by that of the statute of limitations by the state of California. I have 1 year to prove that of false incarceration and up to 3 years to prove that of fraud. Yet I have to explain all the facts in this matter, and I have to go on record and do that of a declaration, because back in January or February of this year, I have filed a federal complaint with the FBI, and I was told by an agent that I needed to do a declaration under penalty of perjury, said that if any of the accusations that I'm making against public officials are that are false or fabricated, I can suffer that of imprisonment. So here we go. However, I need to explain to those of you who've seen my videos in society on that or YouTube or Facebook, and I've explained many of times what it is that I'm fighting, what it is that I'm going through. But at the same time too, I want y'all to understand that this is what activism is about making a difference, making a change, and standing for something that you believe in, and willing to either go back to prison for the rest of your life for it or die, as so many has before. And that's what I am doing here today, because these people took my life, and I can show you on record where Deputy District Attorney during my sentence, Susan Schwartz, clearly stated that Devin Maurice Harmon is a menace to society, uneducated, outcast, no religion. He doesn't belong in our society. Yet I can show you a video in '94 where Joe Biden said the exact same thing. I'm beyond the pale. I need to be taken out. So I sit here today to show y'all differently, and to show so many others that are unable to do what I've done and to educate yourself or go to the extent of what I've done. But it's so simple if you just follow the formats of what I'm about to do. I state for the record, under penalty of perjury of the state of California, that what I'm about to say is based on the actual facts as presented against me in California Superior Court case number G GA0575542, and that as well as GA0611537, as well as that of Federal District Court, Central District of California, Devin Harmon versus the City of Glendale, civil case number CV07 JL, Judge Joseph L. Stanton, and or Magistrate Judge Alice G. Rosenberg. The facts are stated. In 2004, Glendale Police Department filed an accusatory instrument charging me with numerous crimes of residential burglary, based on the findings of Glendale Police Department Forensic Specialist Marvin Marshall. Marvin Marshall testified under oath at the time, as you will review the records, that he didn't follow protocol procedures because Glendale Police Department didn't have none. Yet at the same time, too, you will see from the record that Marvin Marshall testified that he wasn't even certified, despite being on the job 25 years, to even do the profession in which he's done. Yet you will see for the facts in the record that Marvin Marshall failed to preserve any evidence of which he claims he presented against me. See, protocol procedures requires Marvin Marshall to go to the crime scene, dust, photograph, and collect evidence. Yet the record showed Marvin Marshall did none of that. In fact, Marvin Marshall had the victim drive the car from the crime scene to the department where he allegedly processed it. Yet attains no photographs or documented evidence outside of that of his own fabricated testimony. Yet evidence in the original trial was suppressed due to identification protocol failures. I was acquitted. Yet 35 days after being acquitted of that case, this same evidence under 11-0B was used against me. Yet everything that Marvin Marshall testified to and was exposed of in 2004 was corrected and substantiated through that of false and further fabricated testimony presented by that of Deputy District Attorney Susan Schwartz. Yet to prove that Deputy District Attorney knowingly presented false testimony, she later on went on record by calling expert witness of William Leo from the LA County Sheriff's Department to testify that he independently verified the independent evidence of the 2004 matter in which they had nothing to do with, to establish a baseline of probable cause, to kind of establish some kind of chain of custody in which they failed to establish in 2004, as the records will show. I was convicted and sentenced to 280 years for a vehicle burglary that, if you review the 911 call, it clearly stated Armenian or Hispanic male, that of 5'4". Yet most people that know me will see that I'm all of 6 foot. However, as I went into prison, I filed a 1983 lawsuit for the false imprisonment, or what they call miscarriage of justice, prosecutorial misconduct claims under 1983 against the City of Glendale and Marvin Marshall. In that case, Marvin Marshall told the Federal District Court at Marvin Marshall's Declaration 8 in support of summary judgment that the 2004 case was independently verified by Forensic Supervisor Debbie Stivers, disclosing new and exculpatory evidence not within the previous 2 state records. For 15 years, I petitioned the federal court for this evidence and stated that this was false and fabricated, only to be barred to file even a claim of anything anymore. Yet the state court reviewed it and set it aside and gave me a sentence modification in which that the same argument that our incoming district attorney is asking his prosecutors to do today by disclosing enhancements and asking for justice because of crimes like mine. Like I say, I was given 280 years to life. I was given 8 consecutive life sentences to strike for each life count or each charge that I was given, which after a repeal was shown to be nothing less than a misdemeanor, which that it is today. Yet the same arguments in which I'm making and the same changes which our incoming district attorney is making within his office today, that you can no longer use prior 11-0B evidence, bad acts, to convict a felony or to sentence or enhance. Yet I don't have the right no longer to represent my case in this matter because I have now parole papers after pursuing this matter under my constitutional rights and within the scope of the prosecutor's office to disclose any prosecutorial misconduct not within the scope of her office. Yet when it is within the scope of her office, she has a duty to disclose this evidence and correct it immediately. Yet because I've exercised my rights, because, like I say, within the statute of limitations, upon my release from prison, even the federal court can't bar me from raising this claim of injustice, because the statute of limitations requires me that year. So therefore, upon that right of exercising and requesting this information be disclosed, to my knowledge, as it was told to me from CDCR supervisor of Parole Pomona Board, De Silva, somebody contacted the Parole Board and said that if they didn't shut me up, they would. At that point, as on a Saturday, De Silva disclosed to my mother that it was her supervisor who said issue a warrant for my arrest, because allegedly I hadn't been reporting and they had to come out in the field and find me and all these based on lies. Because I reported every month to that office from the day that I've been out, and I've been home for a year except for them 4 days that I was illegally locked up in the county jail based on their false warrant saying that I absconded. But it was all a ploy to shut me up, because the following days that warrant was put out for my arrest, I was made to sign new parole papers after being released 6 months into my parole, stating that I would no longer contact the Pasadena District Attorney's Office through any kind of contact. Like, if anybody right now that's hearing this message contacts the prosecutor's office, I'm going back to prison for the remaining time of my life sentence. I can no longer possess any legal documents in my case in which I've represented myself over the past 15 years, or I'm going back to prison for trying to expose my innocence, and which exercises my First Amendment rights to petition the government for any grievances against me. Yet in that same time, that First Amendment right clearly states that I can petition that government, any government, for these actions, free of any punishment or reprisatory actions against me in which they've taken. Yet y'all left me no choice. See, like I said, they thought I to be an idiot. But if those of you who's watched my YouTube videos and know me, far from it, as they now starting to understand. Yet, based on the fact that Marvin Marshall has given inconsistent statements, by law, if he's given 2 inconsistent statements, he has to show direct evidence that the prior statement is that of false and the one that he is given here now is true and genuine. Yet that was never done. Yet the fact that Marvin Marshall has given 3 inconsistent statements, therefore Marvin Marshall has violated all that of any due process of law. As a miscarriage of justice, and the federal court has jurisdiction to strike all Marvin Marshall's testimony from the record. And the state of California will have to financially compensate me for the prosecutor, Deputy District Attorney Susan Schwartz, knowingly using false and fabricated evidence to send me to prison. Yet because I exercised that right to establish and expose that, CDCR took it upon themselves to deny me my constitutional rights. So, okay, that contract is therefore non and void, because I was made to sign that under duress, which is obvious. Thank you. But at the same time too, you guys opened the avenue to expose all of what has been done to me. So that lady that asked for my apology, and you know who I'm talking to, I expect yours first. However, like I say, this is what activism is about. And I have a feeling that because I'm making this declaration and what I'm about to do with it, I charge Deputy District Attorney Susan Schwartz of the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office, Glendale Police Department, former Glendale Police Department Forensic Specialist Marvin Marshall, current Glendale Police Department Detective Miguel Porras, United California CDCR Supervisor De Silva, and Parole Agent Nichols, with filing that of false reports in violation of Penal Code Section 118.1 and Penal Code Section 48.5, perjury and peace officers' false report in the scope of their duties. Everything in which I have substantiated is based, like I say, on that of the scope of their own testimony and presentation of acts upon the court. So, the federal court asked me to charge them, I've done it. The federal district court requires new and substantiated evidence. Well, this is proof. I've been denied my First Amendment right as I filed documentations with the federal court and the state court demanding a writ of mandate, a habeas corpus, or something that the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office disclose the chain of custody from Glendale Police Department 048515. And since my parole papers say that I can no longer see or attain any of that evidence, I have sent documentation and asked for review from Los Angeles County Attorney Ms. Shawn Holley, who briefly about 2 years ago, before her venture to the White House with Ms. Kim Kardashian West, I spoke briefly in the county jail before I was released and resentenced. And upon review of her case and upon speaking to my state appointed counsel at that time, I no longer heard from Mrs. Holley. But I've reached out recently to Mrs. Holley to show that I'm not the one lying. I haven't been the one lying. I've been out here trying to make a change and make it better for my community. And I stand here today because right now I'm living homeless in the streets. But a year ago, coming up December 27th, I was life in prison. So if I could show my little homeboys that if I can make a change and I can do better, so can they. So if anybody stands in my way and tell me I'm not deserving of what the state and the city of Glendale owe me, I'm telling you, you denying me and my little homies. You telling us that we can't eat no more. You telling us that our lives don't matter. Despite the 7 years of saying Black Lives Matter. Well, I am black, I'm Native American, but I don't represent Black Lives Matter. I represent those of them brothers in prison that I sat at them tables with, that of skinheads, that of Aryan brothers, that of Nazi lowriders, that of Crips, that of Bloods, that of Asian boys, that of Samoans, that of Tongans, that of essays, that of some of the same injustice that I have. And I speak for them. And I'm saying enough is enough, and I stand and challenge anybody that stands in our way on your own principles and justice. I think I said enough and get my point across. I will be filing this paperwork with the federal district court, the FBI, like I said, Shawn Holley, the city of Glendale, Carmen Moreno, I'm sorry, and anybody else that was named and listed. And as I say, I'm sending a voice recording to my parole agent as soon as I finish this video. And I have a feeling that they may try to arrest me, but it is what it is, like I say. And I told so many brothers in these streets, I'm picking off from Malcolm left off and what got King killed. When I say about activism, it's not about holding signs and busting out windows and setting things on fire. It's about learning that system. See, what y'all don't understand is I'm an AI virus to the district attorney's office right now. They put me in their system. I learned it. I perfected it. I've done what none of them has ever done. I proved perjury and fraud on the court. Yet they dared not to disclose this evidence. Yet I support our incoming district attorney, and I salute you, sir, for what you're doing. And for them senior officials that don't support and understand what it is you're trying to do, then I say you go to private practice then. They need good lawyers.
The moment Devin Harmon did this video, he contacted me and told me his plan. And all he was trying to achieve was for the court to correct and set aside and re-sentence him and give him his just due on his day. You know what I mean? Because he actually did his homework. He did his due diligence. He understands the federal law. He got into federal seconds and federal thirds, jurisprudence, and he went into the court of habeas corpus, whether it's 2255, either Corella or Canovas. He filed the exact appeals based on, because see, they got rules and procedures with these currents, right? and they speak in Latin terms, and so in hopes that you won't understand what's going on. But what you can do is get a Black's dictionary, and you can define everything that's being spoken around you and say it to you. That way, so you can have knowledge of the circumstances of which you're now in. So once again, shout out to Devin Harmon, my guy from the PDL, from the Pasadena tribe, man, and hopefully we'll be tapping in with you soon. But I appreciate your taking out your time in the day and just listening to his story. Professor Millie Mail, Fuller Postman, you know the vibe. Come on, man. Hit the notification bell. Like, subscribe, share. Get them up, baby. Thumbs up. Matter of fact, please leave a comment. You know I like your comments. We're out.